lots of thoughts trying to come out at the same time. But,
Hey guys, welcome back. So we're going to play the clip first and then we'll comment on it at the end.
You, of course, commanded NATO forces in Europe. I wonder, what are NATO member states and their leaders, America's treaty allies, thinking tonight after this display in the Oval Office?
Yeah, let's start actually in Moscow, where they're not popping champagne because they're under sanctions from France, but they're breaking out the best bottles of vodka. Everybody's very, very happy in Moscow, and you see that across Russian television. Now let's shift to Brussels, where the greatest pool of allies, partners, and friends the United States could possibly have in the world are fellow democracies across this transatlantic bridge. There is despair. There is deep, deep concern and sadness over the way Volodymyr Zelensky was treated in the Oval Office, the way he was simply, I think, ambushed by the president and the vice president in a display that really does shame to the Oval Office of the United States. I think the question now, Jim, is what happens in Europe? Let's face it, the spotlight will now go to Europe. Donald Trump has made it clear he wants no part of helping Ukraine going forward. It's a geopolitical mistake of epic proportion. Now the lights go on in Europe. They're going to have to step up and take this on.
As you know, Trump has not just warned Ukraine it's in effect on its own. I mean, he said that to Europe effectively. And the way European leaders are taking that, Friedrich Merz among them, soon to be Chancellor of Germany, is that they cannot rely on the U.S. to enforce Article 5 of the NATO treaty. Is that a fair concern on their part? Has Trump effectively, if not by signing a document, removed the U.S. from the alliance?
I think we are headed possibly, I don't want to overstate this, I don't want to be overly dramatic, but we could be looking at the last days of NATO. And this is a gut issue about who are you going to support? A democracy that's under attack, or are you going to support a dictator in Moscow? This is going to drive a wedge deep into the heart of the alliance, and it's going to bleed over beyond Ukraine, as you point out, Jim, correctly, as to whether or not the United States can be trusted as a...
So, guys, is NATO finished? One of its core principles, Article 5, states that an attack on one member is an attack on all. But with Donald Trump in charge, can Europe really trust the US to uphold that commitment? CNN spoke to retired US Admiral James Stavridis. Stavridis? What a cool surname. Who warned that we could be looking at the last days of NATO whilst Russian officials are celebrating. Of course they fucking are. Especially what Trump did to Zelensky. European leaders are in shock. Trump has made it very clear. Ukraine is on its own. But it's not just about Ukraine. Eastern European nations now fear not just military threats, but cyber attacks, media manipulation, and Kremlin-backed political interference. Without US backing, NATO's credibility is in tatters. Trump's open hostility towards Ukraine and his unpredictable nature make the alliance effectively worthless, let's be honest. And if the US won't step in when needed, Article 5 is just words on a page. And even if a new administration takes over tomorrow, the damage is already done. Europe can no longer assume America will have its back. So what now? Europe needs to wake the fuck up and accept that NATO, as it was, is over. Whether it's forming new defence pacts or ramping up military spending, the days of relying on the US are gone. Trump has made it very clear. We are on our own. But let me know what you think in the comments. I've been Jake from Just Jake. As always, subscribe to the channel and feel free to buy me a beer, but not a real one. See you next time. You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, if you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.